Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Testing. Awesome.
Marn for pain. That's really pulling under the weather.
I did my test Tuesday.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
Test 1 2 1 2 test 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 1 2. Test 1 2 1 2 test. Test 1 2 1 2 test test 1 2. Test 1 2 1 2 test.
Good morning. Welcome to the Fall 2022 Faculty Staff Convocation. I'm Adriana Garza Flores. I am Chief Marketing Communications Officer, and we are excited to welcome everyone back to what promises to be a great semester here in Javelina Nation. It is my distinct honor to welcome Dr. Robert Vela. He is our 22nd president. He is a 3-time alum. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Robert Vela.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful morning. We have a lot to be thankful for and we're a blessed institution, a blessed community. But I must tell you, coming back home after being gone almost 30 years is pretty special. It's special because I know how important this university is to our backyard and who we serve. It's this same university that allowed me through their front door, allowed me to make mistakes along the way because I didn't know what I didn't know at 18 years old from Alice, Texas. And it gave me enough of a safety net to be able to say, hey, we believe in you. Trust the process, and we'll get you through the finish line. So to graduate as a first-generation college student from Alice, Texas, is a big deal. It's a big deal for me. It was a big deal for my family. And it started the momentum that now resonates in our family as to how important higher education is to ending a lot of the social, economic problems in our society. See, what I didn't know at the time was that this was bigger than me. I didn't know what graduating truly meant other than it was such a long journey, and I didn't often reflect on what it's done over the years for myself and my family. See, if you get one first-generation college student through the finish line, I chalk it up as the power of one. That one trailblazer that walked the stage begins to transform not only themselves, but begins to transform that family. That family now is taking steps to transform those expectations that those families had or didn't have. That family then begins to change generations to come. Generations to come begins to change communities. That's why every student at our university is so important. The stakes are high, not just for that student. The stakes are high for families and generations in our communities that we serve. And boy, has it come full circle over the last few months that I've been here. It is surreal for me to be sitting, talking with each and every one of you as the president of this amazing institution. I don't want to stop and reflect because it's overwhelming for me. But this university has prepared me well to serve my community over the last 25 years in a very special way. And I want to say a heartfelt thank you to each of you that have put in the sweat, the tears, the ganas to do what we do day in and day out. Let me remind everyone here in this room that we are all educators. Whether we are doing our role inside the classroom, outside the classroom, in a research laboratory or out in the field, whatever that is, I want us to understand that we are all educators with an educator heart bigger than Texas. That's what it takes to get students through the finish line. And the beauty of what we do, I think, is that it doesn't mean that we only do it while we're here at the university. We're doing it while we're picking produce at HEB. We're helping our community thrive to be the best. So that's why it's overwhelming for me. So I didn't sign up for a job. Early in my career, maybe I was pursuing the job because I wasn't wise yet. But in my role, in my capacity now, I sign up for missions. I sign up for a mission that's worth the fight, that's worth the sacrifices, because this community is worth it. This university is worth it. So I wanted you to know how special this is for me and my family. My wife is also an alum from here, from Freer, Texas. These are communities that oftentimes don't see past their city limits. Kids don't dream big, but what they dream about is, how do I get out of this situation? How do I step it up for me and my family? And we are the answer. We answer that call day in and day out. So that's why this is a special day for me. And I can't think about it too much without wanting to break down and think about and reflect on the journey. But I'm trying to reflect being an 18-year-old coming here for the first time. When I would see each of you, professors, personnel, I was in awe. I said, how do I get there? How do I become successful? How do I sign up for a job that seems so awesome? I mean, how do I don't know how to do that. That's how students view each of you, believe it or not. They want to be like you. They just don't know how. And I want to impress upon you the example and the role models that each of you are day in and day out in this community. We have a deep-rooted tradition from San Antonio to McAllen, Texas, all over the state, all over the country. They know what Javelina Nation is and what it represents over the years, almost 100 years to this community. And I am so blessed and just privileged to be just one role in many roles at our university to fulfill our mission and our promise to this beautiful community. So all that to say is, I didn't prepare a lot of slides because today is about really what is our vision and what's our journey and what's going to be the next year to come. That star represents the North Star for us. That North Star needs to be focused on student success. If we're not getting students through our front door and we're not graduating our students, then we've got to ask ourselves, then what are we here for, right? That has to be our guiding light in everything that we do. When we align strategies, when we align action plans, they need to be aligned to ensure that students are getting through the finish line. So how do we achieve that student success? It's very difficult. You can't will it. It's too complicated. It's too taxing on you individually to just will it for every single student. We have to prepare and double down on an infrastructure that aligns all of our efforts, all of our strategies to that North Star. Every single one of us in our role, in our capacity to fulfill our mission. We have to double down on institutional excellence. Everything we do in the classroom, research, development, teaching, advising, has to be centered on excellence. Students in our backyard don't always know what excellence looks like and feels like. But when you and I and others begin to experience excellence, it's contagious. We want more and more of it because we know that's the essence of joy and happiness for what we do as educators. So we've got to double down on that. So how do we do that? How do we create institutional excellence? I'm going to oversimplify this. It's a lot more complicated. But over the years, I can tell you there are 3 pillars that really have made a difference to institutional excellence and institutional trust around a mission. And that really boils down to courageous and authentic leadership. Man, it's hard. It's easy to be a leader when times are good. I didn't sign up for this mission because things are good all the time. That's not what attracts educators to a mission. When we know we can help our community, and the tougher it is, the more we want to be a part of that team. So I'm going to ask each of you to be courageous, to be authentic during very difficult times. And I'm going to give you an example. You know, we've been experiencing some enrollment declines over the years. This is not the time, sometimes people will say, to do what you want to do, Dr. Vela, because there's not enough money around right now. But did you know that we have 7% of our family, our employees, that are earning under a livable wage? Did you know that 7% of your colleagues living in this community are earning under $15 an hour? If you stop and think about what that is, it's pretty shameful. So there will be a communique coming out either today or the next day to ensure that all 7% of those colleagues, of our colleagues, all at the minimum are earning at least $15 an hour, whether that's full-time or part-time. We need to be the employer of choice, but we also need to be a role model for the entire community to say, wow, look what A&M Kingsville is doing for their folks. Let's do that for our folks. That's how you start elevating communities. And that's just start phase 1. Because they are the ones that are hurting the most. They are the ones staying up at the kitchen table at night, trying to figure out how they're going to pay a bill, or how they're going to pay that or how are they going to pay that copay for their child who is sick. That's what's happening at kitchen tables when we don't take care of our own folks. So we've got to figure this out. This is phase 1 to many more to come, to be sure that everyone in this organization feels a sense of pride. And it's not always about money, but we've got to challenge ourselves to ensure that we provide a great quality of life for the entire team. We have to have a commitment to continuous improvement. We hear continue quality improvement in products, but this is improvement for our organization. We need to understand, as an organization, as an institution, where the gaps are, where the equity gaps are, where the performance gaps are, where the achievement gaps are, and do something about it. We can't just will it anymore. It's not enough to just will it. Our hearts can be bigger than Texas, but if we don't have a spirit of continuous improvement, we can't get better. We don't know where the gaps are. We don't know where the traps are. So we need to understand in everything that we do in the classroom, in research, outside of the classroom, where those gaps are, so that we can get every student through the finish line. How are our Latina students doing in history? Are we getting them through the courses? Are we helping them all the way through? Do we know that? We need to know that. We need to figure that out so that every student can get through the finish line. I'm not asking us to compromise our standards. I'm asking us is to elevate our students and show them how to meet our standards. And that basically takes a relationship. That basically takes a spirit of curiosity to say, hey, is everything okay today? I noticed you were out yesterday. Is everything okay? Just that simple acknowledgement will go a long way for a student to say they care. And you know what? I may just share with them a little bit of what I'm going through before I decide to drop out. We, over the last 4 years, have lost 1,000 students every year. That's 4,000 students over the last 4 years that didn't graduate. That's unacceptable for us as educators. That student that signed up said, I knew college wasn't for me. I just can't make it. Is it that they can't make it or that we failed them? Because we didn't have an infrastructure that provided a safety net to get every student through the finish line. Not to compromise our standards and our rigor is to elevate the students to meet those standards. Because after all, we're preparing that future workforce. And they have to be prepared, no doubt. There are examples that I know, 42 professors have gone through AQ. AQ is a premier pedagogy, andragogy kind of approach to help professors, educators, and show them what it's like to consider some factors in your teaching and learning environments that are outside of what we were taught necessarily at graduate school or our doctoral program. That's an example of trying to get better at your profession, even if you've been in the classroom for 30 years. The fundamental principle in education is that we can always get better. We, myself, can always get better. We are actively pursuing self-actualization. We may not ever get there, but it's about the pursuit of self-actualization. Lastly, data informed. We need to be data informed, but we need to be accountable to what those results show. We can see all the reports and all the data in front of us, but if we simply fail to act, that's on us. We have to figure and be committed to data to be able to understand what is happening in our organization. Why are students leaving with 120 hours and not graduating? That's painful to think about. Those families, that they were so close. And I'm going to share a personal story with you because I want to bring this point home. My father-in-law, who is 76 years old, in Freer, Texas, was 1 semester short when he came to school in the early 1970s here. And he did well for himself. He was with Southwestern Bell. He was an engineer there. He felt 1 semester short from graduating with his business degree. And to this day, when he and I are talking heart to heart, he tears up that he never finished. He tears up every single time we talk about the fact that he felt a semester short because he had to go work. These are lives, and these are things that people carry forever. So let's get everybody to win. Let's get everybody to graduate. Let's be sure we have an infrastructure where nobody falls through the cracks, where we elevate our expectations, but help students meet those expectations to prepare the next employers for Valero. We just met with Valero executives. I think they've hired over 50 of our engineers. And over 40% of those engineers at Valero Refinery are women. That's beautiful. That's who we are. That's what we represent. So this is the mission before us. And I want to challenge you. My position here at this university as president is just one role of many roles to fulfill this mission. It's going to take all of us to fulfill this mission. I hope you're up for the challenge, because I am. I am going to work tirelessly alongside of each and every one of you to make this happen. I am so blessed that you came out this morning, because we are going to continue to take Convocation up another level every single year to be sure that it's exciting, it's full of energy. It sets the tone for a very difficult year to come. But you can't experience reward and success if you have no difficult situations in front of you. So as difficult as this year will probably be for us, I know it's going to be a rewarding year. And as an educator, our reward system is aligned to an intrinsic reward system when students are walking the stage at graduation. Thank you.
Buenas noches, and welcome to the 2022-23 academic year. My name's Lou Reinisch, Provost, Vice President for Academic Affairs. And I was thinking last night of what I needed to tell this group of people. And yesterday I had the opportunity to speak with the new faculty. And I told them 3 quotes. And I thought that those 3 quotes actually are worth repeating to this group here. And so the first quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he said, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." And I think that pretty well sums up our institution. We tread in uncharted waters. We go into newfound lands, and we leave a trail behind us. And that's our mission, to go to new places. The second quote comes from John Quincy Adams, who said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more, then you are an effective teacher." That's inspiring. As a teacher, you can inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. That's a mission that we all should have. And the final quote is from Jim Rohn. Jim is an entrepreneur who started his career in the 1950s at Sears Roebuck. And he said, "A good objective of education is to help those who are doing poorly to do well, and to help those who are doing well to do even better. That our jobs are not for a single group of people, but they're for all people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's who we serve." Now, this year, we're going to have a few new programs to help with student success. One of them is EduNav, and you'll hear more about that as the semester starts. EduNav is the GPS that helps students navigate through the course catalog. It tells them what courses they have to take this semester and each following semester until they graduate, so they see their path forward. We also have the app Circle In, which is a smartphone app that encourages students to collaborate with each other and to help each other learn so that their learning out of the classroom is more effective. And finally, we've just completed our first summer bridge program. Shannon Baker has led that program. We had nearly 100 students. And those 100 students, perhaps the most fragile of our students entering, are actually now going to be leaders of incoming students. I was with them at the baseball game, and I've never seen such camaraderie and such unity in a group of students. It's impressive. But we at AMK, like all universities, we have our problems. Dr. Vela mentioned some of these. Less than 50% of our students graduate. That means for every 2 students that walk in the door, more than one of them walks out with nothing in their hand. And that's not right. And that's because we have 1,000 students walking away every year with nothing for what they've paid and what they've and the time and effort that they've put into this institution. And what's even worse is that these numbers are worse for students of color. 80% of our students are students of color. They're worse for first-generation students. 62% of our students are first generation. It's worse from low-income students. 65% of our students are low-income students. So I challenge each of you, faculty and staff, to focus on student success, on fixing the problem, on making sure that our students achieve. And the number one thing that we need is our students to be engaged, our students to feel that they're wanted, that they're needed, and we care about them. That we talk to them, they can hear us, they can relate to us, and they understand what we're trying to say to them. So remember, our strategic plan has a very simple mission mantra: student success. When you're doing something, you can always ask yourself, is this going to contribute towards student success? And if it's not, then maybe you should be putting your efforts in a slightly different way. And to achieve it, we're going to have to do things differently. We can't just keep doing the same way that we've been doing things before. So I challenge each of you to think outside the box, challenge the way that things have always been done, and come up with better ways of educating our students. To be flexible and accept that change is a part of this organization as we evolve, grow, and mature. This year will not be like last year, and it will not be like the last 10 years. It will be different. Be flexible and accept the change. Also embrace rather than fear uncertainty. Too often, when things are not clear, we're fearful. But embrace that change, embrace it, that uncertainty, and use it to improve what you're doing. I want you to be proactive and not reactive. I want you to be ahead of the curve. I don't want you to be reacting to what's happening. I want you to be leading the change. And as our chancellor tells us, try things. Always open yourself up to experimentation. Too often we worry too much about whether we're going to be successful or whether we're going to be a failure. But we have to try things without worrying about whether we're going to fail or not. It's a really important objective to try different things. And I'll finally welcome a diversity of viewpoints. We're a diverse nation, we're a diverse group of people, and we have to accept that. And I'll leave with one final quote from Jim Rohn, the entrepreneur, who said, if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. And I, for one, will not settle for the ordinary. And I don't want you to be settling for the ordinary either. I want you all to be risking and moving forward, challenging yourself for better student engagement, better student success. So I thank you all. I'm supposed to announce that door prize number 1, and it's printed on your banner, whoever won it, but it's a $50 HEB gift certificate. Our next speaker is Dr. Shad Nelson. Shad is the Dean of the Dick and Mary Lewis Claber College of Agriculture and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Dr. Reinisch and President Vela. Thank you for your inspiring message. I apologize in advance for all the deans. We all have more slides than you. For the Dick and Mary Lewis Claber College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, it's my pleasure to recognize Dr. Natasha Mast, who has received tenure status and achieved the rank of Associate Professor in the Department of Animal Science and Veterinary Technology. Congratulations to Natasha. Furthermore, we're very pleased to recognize Dr. Fidel Hernandez as TAMUK's latest Regents Professor. Congratulations, Dr. Hernandez. And to Dr. Stephen Chumbley, who is the 2022 Chancellor's Teacher Educator Award recipient. We are very pleased for his work in agriculture education and mechanics. Congratulations, Boot. I don't have many slides, and this is supposed to be a celebratory event. So I would be amiss if I didn't recognize Mrs. Rebecca Trant, who will be retiring after 40 years of dedicated time and work to this institution. Congratulations, Becky Trant. And to the individual that has the number 2 on their little flyer here, you receive a $25 gift card to Harold's. Congratulations. I turn the podium over to Dr. Guerrero, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Guerrero.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Exciting morning and launch to a new semester. So I'm very proud to make some announcements on promotions and name a few faculty. We squeezed them all into 3 slides. So I apologize to my faculty that we don't have your pictures up there, but it would have taken a lot longer to introduce everybody. So I'm proud to congratulate the following faculty who received promotion to full professors effective fall of this semester. Mr. Jesus de la Rosa, Department of Art, Communications, and Theater. Dr. Haben Su, Department of Physics and Geosciences. And yes, I know I skipped my name, but it's but I am happy about it. So Dr. Eric Swartz, Department of Clinical Health Sciences, Dr. Robert Villa, Department of Clinical Health Sciences, and Dr. Wyman Shi, Department of Biological and Health Sciences. The following faculty received tenure and promotion. Dr. Abula Diplu, Department of Psychology and Sociology. Dr. Dr. Fan Ha, Department of Biological and Health Sciences. Dr. Hae-Young Kim, Department of Biological and Health Sciences. Dr. Aniruddha Upadi, Dr. Ani, Department of Language and Literature. Dr. Chica Rosenbaum, Department of History, Political Science and Philosophy. Dr. Alexander Sanchez Bihar, School of Music. Dr. Nick Shulu, Department of Art, Communications and Theater. And Dr. Pamela Wright, Department of Language and Literature. Now we would like to welcome the following new faculty to our TAMUK family. Dr. Haley Coleman, Assistant Professor, Department of Clinical Health Sciences. Dr. Luis Cortez, Assistant Professor, Department of Language and Literature. Dr. Yifan Su, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics. Dr. John Lopez, Assistant Professor, School of Music. Dr. Angela Ripley, Assistant Professor, School of Music. Dr. Kyle Shaney, Assistant Professor, Department of Biological and Health Sciences. And Dr. Brian Thatcher, Assistant Professor, School of Music. And Dr. Benjamin Tomlinson, Assistant Professor, School of Music. Join me in welcoming. So I get to introduce door prize number 3. If you have that, it's a $50 HEB gift card. So congratulations. Now it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague from the college, the Dean for the College of Business Administration, Dr. Natasha Delacour.
Good morning. College of Business Administration is delighted to welcome Dr. Shel Trains Song, Assistant Professor of Management, to our college in Javelina Nation. Dr. Song received his undergraduate degree from Nanjing University of Finance and Economics, and he did his graduate work at the University of Alabama. So welcome, Dr. Song, to Javelina Nation. At the College of Business Administration, we're also very proud of promotion and tenure of 3 faculty members. Dr. Ruth Chatelain Jardin has been promoted to full professor. Dr. Jose Luis Daniel earned his tenure and promotion in the Department of Management, Marketing, and Information Systems. And Dr. Brent Kinghorn also earned his tenure and promotion at the Department of Management, Marketing, and Information Systems. And now if you are a lucky number 4, then your next meal at Peyton's is paid for. Please look at the back of your banner and pick up your gift certificate on your way when this event is over. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Steve Bain.
Good morning and welcome here today. College of Education and Human Performance is pleased to make the following announcements. Dr. Marcia Sowell, promotion to Associate Professor with tenure, Department of Teacher and Bilingual Education. Holds her PhD in Curriculum and Instruction from Texas Tech University in Lubbock, her Master of Arts Educational Leadership, University of Texas of the Permian Basin, Odessa, and her Bachelor of Arts in Communication from Angelo State University, San Angelo, Texas. Dr. Jeff Chernosky, Department of Educational Leadership and Counseling. His EDD is in the educational leadership from the American College of Education, Master of Education in Curriculum and Technology, Bachelor of Art in Elementary Education, and Associate of Arts in Business Administration. And then Dr. Boram Lim, Department of Health and Kinesiology, is one of our new hires, as Dr. Chnosky was. PhD in Interdisciplinary Health Sciences from the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, a Master of Science in Kinesiology with a concentration in Exercise Physiology from Humboldt State University, Arcata, California, and his Bachelor of Science in Physical Education from the Myongji University, Seoul, Republic of Korea. So we say congratulations to Dr. Sal and welcome to Dr. Chnosky and Dr. Kim. Now it's my pleasure to announce that if you are holding the fancy banner here with number 5 on it, you've got a TAMUK gym membership, and that does not carry with it any kind of meaning for me. I just want you to know that's what they told me to announce. So with that said, before I get any more trouble, I'm going to transition to Dr. Heidi Tabuada, Dean of the College of Engineering.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. It is my pleasure to give the following announcements on behalf of the College of Engineering. With research strengths in the areas of construction management, infrastructure, asset management, it is my pleasure to announce that Dr. Amir Hesami from the Civil and Architectural Engineering Department has been promoted from assistant professor to associate professor with tenure. Congratulations, Dr. Hesami. With research strengths in the areas of multi-scale modeling, finite element analysis, and fracture mechanics, it is my pleasure to announce that Dr. Cha Alam from the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department has been promoted from assistant professor to associate professor with tenure. Congratulations, Dr. Alam. With research strengths in the areas of parallel and distributed algorithms, high-performance computing, big data analytics, graph analytics, and data mining, it is my pleasure to announce that Dr. Malek Khan from Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Department has been promoted from assistant professor to associate professor with tenure. Congratulations, Dr. Khan. With research strengths in the areas of who's this? I have one more. With research strengths in the areas of cluster and grid computing and real-time systems, storage systems, and networking, Dr. Mei Nijin from Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Department has been promoted from associate professor to full professor. Congratulations, Dr. Nijin. I want to welcome a new faculty in the College of Engineering. We have Dr. Fusie Rusmer from Civil and Architectural Engineering Department, and she's joining as an assistant professor. She obtained her PhD from Texas Tech University recently during the past weeks, and she has strengths in transportation engineering and concrete pavement. Congratulations, and thank you for joining, Dr. Rusmer. The next faculty who recently joined us as an assistant professor is Dr. Bing Wei. He is joining Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department. He obtained his PhD from Ontario Tech University in 2016, and his research strengths are in the areas of robotics, control theory, and dynamical systems. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Wei, and welcome. The last faculty member who recently joined us is Dr. Delia Valles. She's joining as department chair of the Industrial Management and Technology Department. She obtained her PhD from New Mexico State University in 2001, and she has research strengths in the areas of additive manufacturing, polymer and polymer composite characterization and fabrication, systems modeling for biomass waste, and energy minimization. Welcome, Dr. Valles. So please look at your banners, and if you have prize number 6, you just won a 25 El Tapatio gift card. Congratulations. And I want also to announce our next presenter, who's the Vice President of Enrollment Services and Student Affairs, Dr. Rito Silva. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Bienvenidos. I know you've been sitting here for 45 minutes. You're more than halfway through. Okay. And somehow I feel targeted because when we started this, John and Adriana said, Rito, you got 5 minutes. Why don't you write down your speech? And so we can make sure we stay on time. So I feel like I'll do that. I think maybe I'll go off script, but they'll get after me here. So first of all, let me go ahead and start with some the very first thing that we're talking about, enrollment report. So yesterday morning, I asked Meow to print out the latest report. And I want to, our first time in college students, what we call our FTIC, they're doing really, really well. As of yesterday, we had 1,082 first time in college FTIC students compared to 842 at this very same time last year. So that's a 28.5% increase. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great incoming freshman class. And really want to thank the recruiter staff, faculty, deans, chairs who are always hosting our students here. And that's really good. Now, overall, like was mentioned before by Dr. Vela and Dr. Reinish, our continuing students are not doing as well. Overall, we're doing -2%. But we're working with the academic affairs on several outreach programs to try to close that gap. And so we're hopefully that we'll get we'll make some ground up there. So this last year, we concentrated quite a bit on relationships with our school districts and our community colleges. We had several school districts visit our campus throughout the last year. In July, we had a superintendent symposium. We had 17 school districts attend that symposium. And some really good work came out of it. And we're working with many of those districts right now on new initiatives. We've also established stronger ties with community colleges. We signed an MOU with Del Mar College and Victoria College on dual admissions. And also this fall, we're actually offering an engineering course at Del Mar College at their new campus called Oso Creek. And then with Coastal Bend College, we're offering physics and chemistry at Coastal Bend College. So really proud of those two different initiatives. Last Friday, Dr. Vela and I traveled to McAllen and we met with the president of South Texas College and his administrative team. And so we're planning a similar MOU with them so we can attract more transfer students from the Valley. So good things are going on in that front there. This past December, A&M-Kingsville signed a contract with Ruffalo Noah Levitz. Ruffalo Noah Levitz is the premier enrollment management planning consulting team in the country. And so they're going to assist us in making our strategic enrollment management plan. They've met with several working groups in the spring and the summer. And this October, they're going to be hosting a university town hall meeting. It's going to be in late October. You definitely will get notified on it. But to give everybody an opportunity to hear the progress of the work that they're doing, but it's also give you an opportunity to give input. The final strategic enrollment management plan is going to be delivered to us in December. So we're going to go ahead and work with that plan and develop action plans on their recommendations and be efficient by using existing talent to create a robust enrollment management plan for this university. So that's what's going on in enrollment services. In student affairs, we are focused on student engagement and meeting the evolving needs of our students. We continue to listen to their concerns regarding campus safety, and we're acting on their suggestions and feedback to create a safer campus environment for everyone. The Campus Student Activity Office is now called the Student Engagement and Campus Life. In the spirit of that concept, we are looking at expanding student space on campus. For example, in January, in conjunction with Sports Rec, we opened up a esports video gaming room in the library that's become very popular for our students. And there's also been a concentration on what we call wraparound services for our students. A recent survey conducted by Trellis told us three things about our students. Our students are dealing with mental health issues, housing insecurities, and food insecurities. So in response to that survey, we wrote a grant to address those needs. And just last month, we were notified by the Department of Education that we received $1.3 million to address these issues. The funds came from that HERF allocation, and a lot of it needs to be used through the HERF funding model that we have. So on August 22nd, students can be notified that the application period is open. So students who indicate they have housing or food insecurities will get additional funds to help them in those areas. And additionally, the Dean of Students Office is going to have emergency funds to help students who need assistance with food and with housing. So as you can tell, the divisions are working really hard on providing students everything they need to excel inside and outside of the classroom. If we can ever be of assistance to you, please let us know. We're all in this together, and we're excited and looking forward to a strong academic year. And with that, I want to go ahead and tell you, if you have lucky number 7 on the back of your banner, somebody have that? We haven't recognized anybody who won it. Number 7, who has number 7 on the back of their banner? All right, over here. Alberto? All right, okay. Good job. We get 4 tickets to a football game, including going to, they call the Champions Tent, where they got food and everything else. So I'm available, Alberto. If you need somebody to go with you, I will go with you, sir. Okay. Now I would like to introduce our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Jacob Flournoy.
Good morning. If you give me just a minute. The Chief of Staff, John, helped me with the slides and we were still working on them, so I'm not sure we may be seeing them at the same time. So I'm going to try to walk through them just a little bit. I had some slides and the Chief of Staff, he's office next door to me. He came in and said, tad boring. So he's kind of spiced it up for us. And so, and I agree, his slides are better. We're going to talk some finance highlights, just highlights in the brief time I have with you. And then we're going to talk about some campus highlights, what we've been working on, just kind of a visualization to help you see where the money's going. I appreciate what Dr. Vela stated today about our mission. And I hope you felt the same way. That's a really powerful mission. And so we're proud of the fact that we're going to aggressively pursue every type of funding we can find to promote that mission and to back that mission up with resources. And what we have up here is just a pie chart, basically kind of give you an idea of where our funds go. And I won't spend a lot of time on it, but there's personnel costs and operations and maintenance and equipment we buy and scholarships and utilities and debt service. And what we do is we have about a budget of around approximately 170 million in a given year. What we have up here are though extra funds that came in because we have stakeholders that support us in our mission. And so we actively pursue funding from those stakeholders and we were successful in obtaining money for the very first time for deferred maintenance. And I was told we were the first entity in the state that went forward and asked for money for deferred maintenance. Normally you go up to the legislature and you ask for a new building, and you ask for a new program. We said, we're very proud of our campus. There's a historical significance to our campus. and we want to maintain it. And you know what? The legislature agreed with us. And so we were able to obtain approximately 45 million, and we're working through that to, we've got the plan. We submitting it through the system now as to how we're going to address deferred maintenance on this campus. And as we talked about earlier, it's about 100 years old campus, beautiful campus. And we're going to give you some visualization of some of the things we're working on related to coming up. You'll see what we've been working on, and then we'll talk about a little bit where we're going with it. But primarily, it's going to be this first go around on infrastructure. And we're going to work through that issue to try to, you've got to have power, heat, light. And the state has agreed with us when we went and talked about it and said, yeah, I think you do have to have that to carry out that mission. We also had this year, 23 million in research expenditures. We're very proud of that. Part of our mission is we are a high-level research institution, and we think we can grow that, and we're going to be pursuing funding for that research. And then we had the federal government stepped up and said, I think you're going to need help getting through the pandemic. And we were awarded 43 million in funding to help us get through the pandemic. And half of that went directly to the students and half of it went to us. And so what we spent the money on is what you can imagine. Initially, early on, we were buying cleaning supplies. We were actively scouring the country as everybody else was to address cleaning supplies, personal protection equipment, masks, things. We'll look back on this time in history as to how we got through the pandemic. We'll think about how we had sick people over in Turner Bishop and how we took care of them. We're very proud of how we use that funds to help us all get through the pandemic. Some of the funds, though, the federal government gave us, you're experiencing right now. We were given funds to look at our infrastructure and how to prevent airborne diseases. And so we're right in the process of finishing up, spending up the money that we have for the students through this fall. And we're working through some of the money they gave us to work on trying to prevent airborne diseases. And that's HVAC system. So I can always pretty much tell where our construction crews have been putting in these new HVAC systems that help us control airborne diseases, because everybody sits all huddled up like this. And so do you think this building was one of the ones we put in new air conditioning? I can tell you it is one of the ones. The ones that they haven't, I see them taking their jackets off, and we haven't been there yet. But we're proud of how we were able to take what the federal government is one of our stakeholders and use those funds. As I mentioned, we'll be going to give you some campus highlights in just a second. We have this year a campus master planning committee. And about every decade, we go through a 10-year spell, and with it, we come back and we have a campus master plan for the next 10 years. And that's what we're gearing up to do. We're a little bit behind because of the pandemic. We actually have gone 12 years without doing this process. So we're moving forward. We're aggressively pursuing funding. We have this 45 million in deferred maintenance funds that we have, but we are also pursuing funds from a variety of stakeholders to help us carry out our mission. So we're going to move to just some facility update highlights that we worked on this year that you may be aware of. What we have here in South Texas, we don't have a lot of storms, but when we have a storm, they're significant. So we have had to repair a lot of storm damage over the last 3 years. And we've been working through those damages. And again, it's a 100-year-old campus, and we needed funds to upgrade our campus. And a lot of this is insurance work, where we were able to take the funds from the insurance recovery on the damage that we had from the storms. I'm hoping and praying we get through this year without a hurricane. And if we do that, we can get ahead of the game. We've been playing kind of catch up here the last couple of years. But if you haven't had a chance to see the performance hall. It's now functioning. It's a beautiful facility. And one of the things in the campus master plan what we're going to be talking about is a college campus should have a lot of different places on a college campus that we should put thought into. There should be places where obviously we learn, we aspire, and we seek knowledge, but there ought to be places where we make friends, and there ought to be places where we meet, and there ought to be places that inspire us to a better life. And we do have those places on our campus. We'd like to have more of those places. But if you ever get a chance to be in the performance hall, especially when they're playing, I had a chance. We had the International Horn Symposium, and we were working very, very hard to get this performance hall open for that International Horn Symposium. I had the chance just to walk by there and hear them play. There are places on our campus that inspire you to a better life, and we want more of those. We're going to be working through that and addressing that. We want places where we get together and we become friends and colleagues. That's what a college campus is about. On the right is the engineering building, and so there's something missing there, and it's scaffolding, and so there's something wrong with the picture, but I'll work on that. No, we really worked hard by graduation in May to get that scaffolding down, to repair those roofs. We had a tremendous storm. We also replaced all the windows in the building. They weren't installed correctly. And so we went in and we reinstalled the windows. We repaired the roofs. We tried to have it by graduation because we were told, or I was told, that we had 4 years of students going through that building and never seen it without scaffolding. Well, it's not there anymore. We have a new vet tech building on the left out at the farm. If you hadn't a chance to go out the farm, I encourage you to go out there and see the vet tech program. We're doing some work this year on the farm. We're excited about what we're going to be doing. On the right, it's not the farm. It looks like the farm, but it's we've removed a tennis court. This is one of those places in the campus master plan. We'll put grass down here until the campus master planning committee can decide what we're going to do with this space. But that tennis court lived its useful life. And there are some things that we're not going to be able to save. We're going to say it doesn't make sense. Let's put something new there. Let's put some thought. So that dirt is going to become grass. There will be groups deciding about what we're going to do. I assure you it's not going to be me that makes that decision, but there'll be groups about, can this be one of those places that we become friends? Can this be one of these places we hang out? Or can this be a place that inspires us? So I'll be excited to see what they come up with. We've reached out to the community. We don't just, Dr. Vela talked about a little bit, address this. We're not an island unto ourselves here. We're a part of Kingsville, and Kingsville's our home. So we reached out to the community downtown. There's a building called the Wilson Building. It was vacant, been vacant, I was told, 10 years. We had a group come together and say, what can we do for this? And so this is our way to connect with the community. If you haven't had a chance to go to the Wilson Building, have a meeting there, that's the conference room on the right. That's state of the art, high tech. This is where we are reaching out to our community to expand beyond our campus borders, to be a part of it. On our left is continue to work for the students. We are about to open up a new not a new dining facility, a remodeled dining facility. I hope they like it. It was redesigned to try to make it an area where they want to not only just eat, but make friends, connect. If you haven't had a chance to eat in the dining hall, I would encourage you to do it at least once a semester. Go over there and eat with them. See what the food they have. It's good food. I eat there. And just be in the environment. So we're excited about that. We hope the students like it. And we desperately hope it's ready by Monday. So it's close. On the right, not the prettiest building in the world, but that's one of our central plants. And this central plant went down in November, and we talk about air conditioning. And so That's our chilled water. And we lost that. It completely went down on us. That's about a $6 million repair that we had to do on the spur of the moment. And you may have seen the trucks that we had out there working on that. That deferred maintenance that we went to the state and asked, we are in the process of redoing. A good portion of that money will go to redoing our whole chilled water plant system, so it'll be interconnected. And we have 3 central plant chillers. They'll all be connected, and it will never go down and do this again. That won't disrupt our educational process. So that's, we do have this one repaired. We're going to be working on that loop or that deferred maintenance. Oh, there are some new sides. So Claybird Hall is another roof that we were working on, and we were desperately trying to get the new field down to our stadium. So you can see the logo on the field. We were pushing it hard to make sure it was ready for fall practice, and it'll be ready for the new game. Again, I encourage you to go to the football games this fall. Support our teams, but we have a new field and we're very proud of that. I do have some new leadership. I hesitate to single anyone out in my division. It's such an honor to work with everybody in my division, especially my division leaders. They push me every day hard to be the best I can be. But I do have 2 new ones I'd like to point out. I think you'll be interested in. We have a new assistant vice president and chief information officer, and we have a new chief of police. John Dove is our assistant vice president and chief information officer. Just recently started. The happiest group I've ever seen was when I took him down to meet the IT department. And they were so happy to see him because they realized I wouldn't be their supervisor anymore. And they actually had somebody that would understand what they were talking about. So I'm nobody's happier than I am that John's here, but I think you will really enjoy working with him. And I encourage you to reach out. I know he's going about and trying to meet with as many of you can. We have a new chief of police I have the utmost respect for. Long history in law enforcement. Mr. Julian Cavazos. I think you will enjoy working with him. We're entrusting our safety to Mr. Cavazos. I have full confidence in him. He has so many good ideas that he's bringing forward. We will be some of the key areas I know we've had people ask us about. We will be having active shooter training. We're going to have some new and innovative policing strategies. Part of the campus master plan, and I've talked to the new police chief about this. 20, 30 years ago, when they were doing campus master plans, didn't put a lot of thought into security. This day and age, we do. It's a privilege to have somebody of our experience as our new police chief to talk about in the campus master planning process, how do we address security? Because that's now an integral part of planning for a campus in today's modern age. So I hope you get a chance to meet with both of these gentlemen. I know they're out and about. They want to meet with you. And we're excited with the new programs and strategies they're going to be bringing forward. So I believe, and it's not in my slides here, but I believe I'm number 8, if I kept count. And you have a TAMUK gym membership. And it's also my privilege then to introduce Mrs. Heather Elsick from Advancement. And hopefully I didn't mess up your slides, but she is a true consummate professional. I enjoy working with her, and I'm going to bring her forward. Thank you.
Good morning. And sorry, you may have noticed I'm not Brad Walker, the Vice President for Institutional Advancement or the CEO of the Texas A&M Kingsville Foundation. But here he is pictured with one of our board members. If I was Brad Walker, I wouldn't need this stool. And I wouldn't need a script. So Yes, there's Brad. We are missing his wit and his humor and his excitement today. And unfortunately, that means you get me. Yes, I'm Heather Elsick, class of '03, and I've been with Institutional Advancement for a number of years. So I get to share with you a little bit about what's going on at the foundation as well as Institutional Advancement. So for those of you who are not as familiar with Institutional Advancement or our foundation, this is just a dash of our philosophy. Sometimes we tease many of you that you get our students for 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, hopefully not 6 years. But we get them for the next 20, 40, 60, 80 years of their life. We advance those relationships for as long as we can. As a matter of fact, we had a 92-year-old alum stop by our office yesterday, reminiscing about Nearman Hall, about Dr. Turner and her volunteer time with the Javelina Alumni Association over 60 years ago. So our team is very fortunate to have those relationships with thousands of Javelinas, and this is our team. May see some familiar faces, lots of new ones. So some of our new folks are here today. I'd like to just point a few of those out. Tammy Akala, Alyssa Salinas, Jen Rolfstad, Kamar Kurapati, Alan Harwell, and rejoining us is Ann Thurwalker. And so while this is our team, we also have lots of volunteers who make advancement happen. And this is just one of them, Jean Dawson. You may have noticed the sign above our heads. It says Dawson. There is a similarity for a reason, because he is the president of PAPE Dawson. And he's also a foundation board trustee. He is a distinguished alum. He is an Engineering Hall of Famer. And one of the great things about him is that he actually helps design things that you've enjoyed, maybe the AT&T Center, maybe the Tobin Center, maybe you've been shopping at the Rim in San Antonio, or maybe you've been to Fiesta, Texas. His firm is responsible for many, many projects across our state. And even though there's important things he does, one of the most important things he does for us at Javelina Nation is he helps to hire Javelinas. And so way he does that is through our career engagement team. So we're really fortunate that career engagement has been hard at work. They've been launching digital platforms as well as hands-on strategies to bridge the gap for our students and connect them with our alumni network and with employers. The team recently launched the graduation outcomes survey this spring. It's a 6-month-long survey, and it's to help collect metrics that over time will be part of the way that we measure objectives 4 and 5 in our strategic plan. In the meantime, the team's excited to open our new space in the Student Union building directly across from Starbucks. So if you're there, please stop by and see Tammy and Alyssa and some of our student peer advisors. Here's just a few of the ways you can help your students, our students, connect with career engagement this fall. We definitely hope to see you October 6th at the Javelina Career Expo. But get on Handshake and also email us. Let us know how we can be of service to you. It's never too early to begin working with career engagement. So as our students then go through career engagement and prepare to graduate, it's then also our responsibility to continue those relationships we talked about earlier. We want to keep in contact with them. Some folks have asked us, hey, I wonder if there's anyone on campus that kind of keeps up with where our alumni are, what they're doing, how do we mail them? Yes, that's us. That's part of what we do. And so many of you do that also. Shout out to a number of you, but Greta Schuster, if you're here, thank you. You recently helped to host the Texas A&I, Texas A&M Kingsville Ag Teacher Educators who have an annual reunion. And so if you're doing things like that, thank you. Please continue to do those things. We want to partner with you. We want to work with you. We want to make music with you. So that goes on to my next slide. So this is just a few of the ways we'd love for you to help us do that. Yes, sorry, professors. This was my cute way of trying to help us remember just a few key things, few key takeaways on how we can partner together. We want to meet alumni where they're at. So if you know of events that are happening where alumni are gathering, let us come alongside you. Let us also help update their information. We track over 55,000 living alumni plus donors. And so we can't do that without your help. You saw the picture of our staff. We're not hundreds of people. We're just a few. And so it's really important that we have folks like you partnering with us to create opportunities. Another example of that is something I'll get to later on, but we partner with College of Business. We partner with lots of you to bring people back for speaking opportunities and to engage our alumni in the classroom with our students and to continue to bridge that gap. Further on, this is how some of that engagement starts to come to life for us. Community partners are another group of folks that we work with on a regular basis, and we do that through our Texas A&M Kingsville Foundation. It's also a way to help our alumni and our friends realize their own legacies and the mark that they want to leave in the world. So our Texas A&M Kingsville Foundation plays a big role in fulfilling those legacies and supporting our students and advancing this university. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about a special story. It's actually these two folks right here. How many of you were at commencement just a few weeks ago? If you were, you saw these two folks there, and I want to talk a little bit about them. Louis Mogus, the gentleman on the left there, on the right, excuse me, stage left, stage right, sorry. But he graduated in the 60s, and we lost touch with him for over 40 years. And over time, we started to recognize his name and see some of the things that he had done. And it took us about 5 years to convince him to re-engage with us because we had lost touch with him for so long. And we invited him back to campus. Thank you to Dr. Delcourt and your team for having him come back and speak to students in the College of Business. And we honored him as a distinguished alumnus, and he got back involved. And he became so inspired by this campus that he actually started to tell stories and give credit to one of his past professors, Dr. David Ford, who actually was one of his first investors in his first business. And Mr. Mogus now is chairman of a multi-million-dollar international company because of a professor here who not only believed in him as a student, but believed in him as an entrepreneur. And so he was really dug deep and wanted to do something special. And he created the Mogus Perseverance Family Scholarship. And that goes to a student who has experienced extreme hardships and has persevered through those hardships. And so Rylan was the first recipient of this scholarship program 4 years ago. And she graduated in August. And not only did she graduate, but she was the Distinguished Scholar for the College of Arts and Sciences. And she was then also selected to be the commencement speaker, who many of you heard just a few weeks ago. And Mr. Mogus had met Rylan over the years and was really moved by her success. And he wanted to be here on her special day. And he came and he got to listen to her speak. And he listened to some of her hardships, as many of us did. And we were all moved by what she's been able to accomplish and the fact that she's been able to study abroad, the fact that she was able to have a job, which the scholarship does require that the student have a job while they're pursuing their degree, but she was able to be a tutoring assistant under Dr. Goswami. She was also able to take advantage of the Ann Armstrong Fellowship and have an internship. During her speech, she mentioned how her internship was with Judith Zaffarini. And Mr. Mogus leaned over to me and said, "I wonder if she knows that that's my cousin." And I just thought, how did I not know this, number one? And number two, that's the Javelina Network for you. It was really a moving day. It just kind of came full circle as to what it is that we're doing. We're not only helping students like Rylan achieve that student success that we've talked about today, but we're also helping Mr. Mogus achieve and fulfill his dreams and his legacy of the mark that he wants to leave on this world. And it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of both of their stories and a part of hundreds more. We want to help hundreds and thousands of more Rylans. We want to help hundreds of thousands of more Mr. Moguses. And we want that not only for this institution, but for the thousands of communities that we currently touch and that we're going to touch from now until forever. And so if you're inspired to help us and come alongside us, please do. Get involved with career engagement. Ralph, Tammy, and Alyssa are here to help and work with you. Do some alumni networking with us. We have several development officers who go out and meet with alumni. We've got the Javelina Barbecue happening tonight. Alan will be there and Steve will be there, and we'll have lots of alumni who support Javelina athletics. And if you want to help us in a different way, you want to leave a legacy, it doesn't take a huge check to do that. Our alumni give back their time, their talent, their treasure, and we want to do the same. And many of you do that through your jobs, and we acknowledge that too. But if you're moved to do something else, we hope that you'll join us. coming up, we want to spread the word about giving back to Javelina Nation in any way that you can. You can do the other stuff we've talked about. Please do that. It all matters. We're not asking you to build a building. We're not asking you to do anything specific, but to give back to something that you're passionate about. It's your gift. It's your mark on the world. It's your mark on Javelina Nation. As a part of this campaign, we have a special door prize. So pull out your pennants, if you will. If you've guessed, there's a theme here to the numbers. So yes, that means number 9. You are the lucky winner of a partnership with our division as well as our friends at Clayburgh Bank. Clayburgh Bank has agreed to match a challenge, a part of the Day of Giving program. This means the winner of the door prize gets to select their designation of where they want to make an impact, and Clayburgh Bank will match any donation given to that program or that fund on this campus for up to $1,000. It can be for scholarships. It can be for program support. It doesn't matter. The winner will collect this up front from our team, and you'll fill out the form, and we'll make the rest happen alongside our partners at Clayburgh Bank. So thank you for being here. This is an exciting time. We're only 3 years away from Centennial. And a lot of these programs, a lot of the work that we're doing is an effort to build momentum toward that. We completed our first comprehensive capital campaign last year, raising over $114 million. That's the largest in our history. Our foundation board of trustees are excited. They're ready. We have momentum behind us. And after hearing today and everyone speak, I'm completely motivated. I'm completely ready. And I hope that you are too. In 100 years, we'll have advanced thousands and thousands of lives, thousands and thousands of communities. It's an honor to be on this journey with you. Jalisco, go Javelinas. I think Dr. Vela has a quick thing to share with you here briefly. And thank you so much for being with us today. It's a privilege. I don't think you need this.
All right, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank all my colleagues for doing an amazing job presenting. I hope a new sense of spirit, some energy. I want to thank the Convocation Committee for doing an amazing job. But this is just a taste of what's to come. Every convocation, I challenge the committee to get better and better with a lot more pride, a lot more Javelina pride. So thank you all. Have a blessed academic year and look out for one another. Go Javelinas.